New 5G telecom radiation, the perfect tool for mind control manipulation of human brain waves. On July 14, 2016, the FCC, Federal Communications Commission, of the USA made space available in the radio spectrum for consumer devices to operate within the 25 GHz to 100 GHz of the electromagnetic spectrum. It went on to say, the Commission has struck a balance between new wireless services, current and future fixed satellite service operations, and federal uses. The item adopts effective sharing schemes to ensure that diverse users including federal and non-federal, satellite and terrestrial, and fixed and mobile can coexist and expand. Nowhere in its document is mention made of consumer safety or well-being. I guess that is fair of the FCC because historically, it is not interested in matters of microwave radiation and consequent thermal and non-thermal effects on the population. Let's face it, and most people find this hard to believe, the FCC works purely on behalf of the telecoms industries in granting them access to the airwaves, no more and no less. Industry was very happy to hear the FCC announcement on granting access of large portions of the radio spectrum for yet more of its toys and other consumer devices. Qualcomm, for example, talks much about the massive Internet of Things, yet nowhere on its 5G musings is mention made of consumer safety or well-being. That pink elephant in the living room regarding safety brings me to the point of this article. The FCC and the telecoms industry rub their hands with glee because lots of money is going to be made as 5G devices roll out, yet no recent safety studies have been carried out on consumer safety. No doubt both the FCC and industry will point regulators to the old, outdated, and one-dimensional so-called safety studies, thermal effects, produced by the ICNIRP. This private organization is comprised of people and individuals who work in the telecommunications industries with no background in epidemiology, toxicology, radio frequency safety or medical practice. The implications of 5G on consumer well-being and safety do not look good for one reason. Devices that will operate within the 5G electromagnetic spectrum will use antennas that are physically small, i.e. from a few millimeters to a centimeter in length. This means that industry will produce a variety of different antenna systems to do different things. The weird fact of operating within this very high frequency range is that signals are mostly line of sight, or they are easily reflected, refracted, or lost within the differing build composition of urban environment structures. In other words, without careful antenna design and recognition of many of the pitfalls trying to propagate microwave signals within urban environments, the signal can be easily degraded or completely lost. In response to these challenges, the advantages in using very small physical size antennas in the millimeter wavelength is you can feed many antennas in various configuration arrays, e.g. vertical or horizontal arrays, waveguide, coned, or highly directional beam type designs. These types of antenna designs focus most of the transmitted power into specified directions. This is bad news for consumers because these very small physical size antennas will pack a mighty punch to our biological systems if we step into them. Getting back to consumer safety and well-being in all things microwave, it is clear that the latency period for adverse biological effects from devices using microwave frequencies from say 1 GHz to 5 GHz is approximately 10-20 years. In 2016 there are now many thousands of peer-reviewed medical and epidemiological studies that show, illustrate or correlate, adverse biological effects with use of mobile phone technology or Wi-Fi. Using frequencies even higher than 5 GHz, and up to 100 GHz, will compress the time frame in which cancers and other biological effects show themselves within society. It is anyone's guess on what might happen in terms of biological safety, yet it is clear to see that the pulsed nature of these high-frequency, high-signal intensity signals do not harbor good news for humanity, particularly in relation to the functioning of our DNA. Nowadays, exposure to microwave radiation or frequencies used by Wi-Fi, mobile phones, smartphones, smart meters, Wi-Fi-enabled audio devices, Wi-Fi-enabled fridges, most baby monitors and a whole host of other esoteric electrical devices were recently classed as Class 2B carcinogens. Point-of-sale literature excludes this fact on any advertising blurb, and it is also fascinating that the small print embedded deep within mobile phone product literature say that you should not put these devices directly to your skin, body, or face. If you do, you exceed the so-called safe exposure thresholds put in place for these devices. Getting back to the very small physical length of the antennas that will be used for 5G devices, it is very clear to surmise that if these devices talk to each other using highly efficient, directional antennas, the ERP, effective radiated power, will be huge. If you happen to walk into this intensely focused beam of microwave radiation, what will this level of signal intensity do to your biology? Yet again, time will tell unless we get our arses into gear and demand proper safety studies from industry and independent academia that focus on thermal and non-thermal effects on our biology. Just like the advent of modern mobile phone technology, it is us, the consumers, who provide the guinea pig role in terms of safety. Sufferers of ES, electro-hypersensitivity, will need to be aware of any 5G device simply because the electron volt assault on their compromised bodies will be easily and instantly felt. It is they who will suffer first, and in time, everyone will be affected, because one other fact the telecoms industries have not mentioned is that in order to develop an efficient network of signals within an urban environment, many thousands of new transmitter sites will need to be installed. The physical small size of these antennas means they can be covertly installed into all sorts of urban structures, which suggest that for urban dwellers at least, there will be no escape from exposure to these highly damaging microwave frequencies. I also feel that when these antennas are in place, it will be relatively easy to alter and manipulate brainwave function of its users and others close by. The amount of ancillary information that can be piped or attached to the main carrier frequency of such a telecommunications network system is potentially huge. Police forces the world over use Tetra as a systems of communication. This system also includes a subcarrier frequency of about 16 Hz, which is very close to our natural brainwave patterns. Could this 16 Hz ancillary pulsed ALF, extremely low frequency, be responsible for instilling aggressive behaviors in our police force personnel? The zombie apocalypse might just be around the corner unless, of course, we refuse to comply. That is our choice. About the author. Dr. Ellis Evans underwent a significant spiritual awakening in 2014 in which many things in his mind fell like pins. One of the fruits of his awakening was an increased sensitivity to microwave radiation, which is real and can be felt adversely within various organs of the body. He has a website dealing with these issues, www.emfguru.co.uk. He is also a spiritual counselor for those undergoing deep spiritual awakening, including spiritual emergency. His website can be found here, www.hellostrsts.net.